J&J Podcast, shining a spotlight on the South African entertainment industry, one conversation at a time. Welcome to the J&J Podcast. We're broadcasting live from Cape Town. I'm Jason, this is Carla, and we're going to be talking about current affairs and all things that are important to you.
Absolutely. Everything on the entertainment landscape in South Africa, from fashion to film and everything in between. And we'll show you why Cape Town is the number one city in the world.
That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're also joined in the studio today by some of our teammates.
Yep,
and
special guest.
Special guest who I believe is
phenomenal. Yes.
A dancer?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
You can join the J&J community by joining all our social media platforms and keeping this conversation going. Don't forget to hit the notification button and like and subscribe.
We're now joined by our first special guest, a dancer.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Introduce yourself.
I am Sisamkele Mhlana, but
slow
you
down.
can call me Sam.
Uh-huh.
I am Sam Mhlana on social media.
Some, well, not.
Yeah.
Some. Okay, I struggle with it.
Yes.
Can I just call you Sam?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Oh, what a cop-out. Okay, we'll give it to you this time.
Fantastic. So we want to talk a little bit about you. You're a professional dancer. What does that actually mean?
So I'm a professional dancer. That means for me, I've done formal training in ballet, contemporary, African contemporary, and also I've also jumped into the social media dance styles, which is I'm a piano, I have a background in soul, Afrobeat. So basically that's street dancing.
Right, okay.
So yeah.
Tell us about the discipline that it takes to be a dancer. What are the steps that you take every single day?
First of all, you have to know your fitness, your flexibility, your mental strength. It all depends on you. No one cares. Even if you go into an audition, they don't care where you're coming from, how much training you have. They just want you to show up. So you literally gonna have to push yourself, train yourself even harder, and then show up when needed to, because no one is gonna be in the seat and the competition is tough. Everyone is always ready. Everyone is always on top of their game. So like no one is there for you.
Right, so I imagine your biggest tool of your job is your legs.
It would depend on the legs.
You're a dancer. You just use your legs. So what do you think of my legs? I reckon I could be a dancer, like a really good dancer.
Boy.
I'm not so sure about that one. It depends on the legs.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you a bit more in a bit. What's the special subject we're going to talk about today? What's happening at the moment?
There's a really crazy story in South Africa right now about a beautiful girl who's entered Miss South Africa, and there's quite a dispute because her mother is from Mozambique and her father is from Nigeria, and people are asking the question, so then how can she enter Miss South Africa?
Okay, well, I've seen a bit about that on the news. I've read a few stories. I've overheard people.
Yeah.
Not that I was in the conversation, but I've overheard them talking about it, and I'm thinking, wow, is it been blown out of proportion? Is it something that's real? What is it? Tell us a bit more about it.
Well, I feel like the competition has rules, and those people let her into the competition. So who are we to say that she shouldn't be there as the public?
So the Miss World organization, they obviously have some sort of constitution that says, right, okay, this is what we accept, this is what we don't. So am I right in thinking, and have you heard about this story?
It's all over. I've been seeing it on social media, and it's literally just a matter of the public versus the Miss SA organization.
So it's the public that are saying there's a problem, not the competition, because I couldn't work out if they're saying, oh, you're banned, or is it the public? No, you're saying it's the public. So the public, right. So what I have noticed, though, there's a lot going around on social media, and I've seen probably 5 different conflicting stories, which is a little bit annoying. And so I actually don't know. I've heard she's English, I've heard she's Nigerian, I've heard he's Nigerian, her father, her mother's South African. We actually don't know. Is there any possibility? Can we do a fact check on that? Can we check the facts?
You know what?
Is she South African or is she English?
Check. It's a bit tricky because I think what the people are mostly raving about is the fact that on her social media, she had a Nigerian flag, right? But then when she entered the contest and when people started talking about it, she changed it to a South African.
It should be Africans for Africa. I think this is causing a lot of division for me. In my mind, it causes division, and I don't like the way it makes me feel. I want it to be Africans for Africa. That's it.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear what you're saying, and Africa for Africa, but this is a Miss World competition, and you know how many countries there are in Africa. There's all these other countries that also have their opportunity. This girl is not representing Africa; she's representing South Africa as a country. Yeah. So the question is then, really, that we need to work out is she South African or not? And if she's not, then maybe everyone's right. But if she is, why are we having a debate about something that's so positive? It's not like she's killed someone. She's trying to represent someone.
Yeah.
She's born with some gift, but she's beautiful, and she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I see her, and I'm like, wow, this girl is like a painting. I thought it was AI at first. It was artificial intelligence, but it's not. She's real. So if I was a South African out there against the world, bearing in mind we have such a bad time as a reputation around the world, I would want somebody like this to say, yeah, actually quite cool as well. I'm with the beautiful people. Let her be. But we need to do the fact check. We need to do everything properly and find out. Because what makes you South African? Is it if you are born here, or is it if your parents are? Because I'll tell you why. Because I read a story last week about a woman, Chinese woman, who gave birth on an aeroplane on a trip to the UK. Where did this child belong? On a plane.
Yeah.
But right now she's in the air. So yeah, where do you draw the line?
But the thing is, and let me just throw this at you guys. Freddie Mercury, right? He was born in Stone Town, but then he is known as a UK artist because his family moved there. So being born in Africa, does that not make him African?
The UK claimed Freddie Mercury as one of his own, but I happen to know a little bit about his history.
Right.
And yes, he was in Stone Town. I can't tell you whether he was born there or not. I know he definitely lived there because I've been in his house. But as far as I'm aware, Freddie Mercury's Iranian.
You can join the J&J community by joining all our social media platforms and keeping this conversation going. Don't forget to hit the notification button and like and subscribe. Jason, you mentioned that you were at Freddie Mercury's house. Tell us more about that.
Well, I didn't go for dinner with his parents or for afternoon tea. I actually went on a visit when I was visiting recently in Tanzania, Zanzibar, actually the island, where he has a museum there. And everything's about Freddie Mercury. So, yeah, I went to his house, but I did also a little bit of research about history. But we're digressing. We're talking about Miss World.
Yes.
So, we need to establish, is she South African? Is she not South African? Why do we even care? Maybe. Do we even care? I'm actually not too sure. But you're a professional performer who enters competitions at a competition standard. So whether you're modeling, whether you're dancing, whether you're whatever you are, it's a competition. So you understand that thing. So when you enter a competition as a dancer,
My thing is, even as a dancer, I can't just go into a hip hop competition knowing that I don't do hip hop, or go into a cramped competition just because I have basics of hip hop. It's specifically for cramping. It's for that community. It's a representation of that community. Doesn't matter that I know about it. It doesn't matter how much I know about it or how much I've been involved. But if I'm not a pure representation of cramp, what am I doing there? I can enter other dance competitions that are not focusing on representation. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
well, I don't know what cramp is for a start. What is it?
Cramp is a different genre in dancing. So there's an umbrella, right? Dancers, there's hip hop, there's contemporary, street dancing, and a street dancing there's amapianos, bourgeois, and others. I'm just naming South Africa. Then there's hip hop, there's voking, there's cramping. So you can't take your voking and your working, you're going to compete in cramp just because you know about cramp and you've been involved with that community. You know how they live, you know how they do stuff. You are not a pure representation of cramping. Why are you there?
Right. So do you agree with this whole Miss World?
My thing is with this issue of the Miss South Africa, I don't think it's a problem of her not being capable of whatever, but is she a pure representation of South Africa? Because as she has said, she had her proudly Nigerian flag in her socials, which is she's proudly Nigerian. She sees herself as a pure Nigerian. So what happens now, I think the fear of the public comes as to what happens now when she goes to the world stage. Is she going to represent South Africa or Nigeria? Because this is pride for South Africa.
But if she's entered the competition as Miss South Africa to enter the competition of Miss World, by default, she's representing South Africa.
Exactly.
She can't represent both countries because Nigeria also has their own entry, who isn't as beautiful as this one. She's beautiful. She's not beautiful as this one.
Right.
I would, yeah. I'm not,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to say too much about it, but as you can tell, I actually really like this girl. I think she's lovely. I'm going to see her get a phone number, maybe. It's a question. You think I'm kidding, don't you? No, watch me, I'll do it. Watch me. And you will see next week with a special guest. So dancing, similar to modelling, I think, because it's competition status on bodybuilding or that kind of thing. So that's your view on it. You're quite clear on it. You need to represent what you represent. But it still doesn't answer the question. If her parents are South African, or mother specifically, then she is South African, isn't she?
No, I'm not. No,
Right.
B.
But what is a South African? You have to be born here. Because I think
As South Africa.
I identify as a South African.
Right.
When people look at me, they say, "Oh, who's this English guy?" Well, actually, I belong here too. And South Africa is all about being inclusive.
Absolutely.
And this multicolored rainbow. Now,
Yeah.
I wasn't born here, but my parents were South African citizens. I just happened to have been born in the UK. Not dissimilar from this girl, or even Freddie Mercury, by the way. Right. Same thing. Right. Not that I can sing, but it's not the point. So, I have ancestral reasons to be here. I've lived more than 50% of my adult life in South Africa. I believe I am a South African. I just have a strange accent. But does that exclude me from entering the Mr. Universe competition or Mr. World? So yeah, I think what we also need to do is we need to be a little bit more careful on, you know, where we get our information from. Because what you just said then is, you know, she had a picture of a Nigerian flag on social media. She's proudly Nigerian now. Did someone tell you that? Did she say that? Or are you thinking that? We actually don't know. Maybe you just assume it. So I think we need to stop assuming. But we'll find out. I'm sure it's all going to come out in the wash. But thank you today for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm really interested to find out what our viewers think about the whole Miss World subject. Absolutely. And also about dancing. Maybe you're a dancer. Maybe you're a dancer that's starting off and you don't know where to go. Maybe you can reach out to us, make some comments, find out a little bit more. Maybe we can put you in touch with some people. Maybe you can help someone as well. But I've got one question for you. This street dancing. If we go out onto the street now, can you show us some street dancing? Is that what it's about?
It doesn't have to be in this time. But yeah,
Actually, you know what? Let's go right now. Come on.
Let us know what you feel about our topic that we just spoke about on our social media.